Hello again, it's Farmer Ann. Glad to see you. So I left off with the big three, cacao nibs, cocoa powder, and 100% chocolate. And enough about the talk and the theory, I'm gonna show you. So here are the three things that we're talking about. So starting with the nibs, that's really the baseline of making any chocolate product. You have to get from the bean, which is this bean, to nibs. Nibs are then ground and pressed to remove all of the cocoa powder, and that's cocoa butter. And then you're left with the powder, which is the cocoa solids minus the fat. And then the 100% bar, which again is the cocoa nibs or cacao nibs ground up for a long time, like 24 to 36 hours. Some makers go longer or shorter. And the heat of the friction of grinding them actually turns it into something called chocolate liquor. Now, it's not alcoholic, it's just a term of art that refers to the kind of thick, liquidy, fatty, melty kind of stuff without any other ingredients, just the nibs ground up. So there's a little bit there. I'm back. So there's kind of something to ground you so that when I'm talking about these products, if you haven't personally interacted or experienced them, or if you've only seen them in the abstract, or in, cocoa powder, Hershey's in a box. Our cocoa powder has some odd characteristics because it's so high in cocoa butter. As I've explained, Hawaii is the furthest north latitude where you can commercially grow chocolate. And so the cocoa butter content is higher than normal beans or the average beans, even high quality average beans. And that means that our cocoa powder, it's really hard to get it super, super fine because it clumps because it still has so much fat. Now, it remains to be seen whether our beans or like beans ground and squeezed in a high volume commercial cocoa powder facility would have those same qualities. Right now, we're not using enough of our nibs to warrant that large scale of production of cocoa powder. There just aren't that many Hawaiian beans that are not being used in small portions with African beans and sold on the market. Not ours, but other people. That's sort of what's happening, is the volume being grown in Hawaii isn't enough to support financially these huge chocolate productions that are coming out. And why you can buy the two brands that are marketing themselves as Hawaiian chocolate is they're not really Hawaiian grown chocolate at all. They're Hawaiian made chocolate, just like Switzerland doesn't grow chocolate, but Swiss chocolate is globally recognized. Belgian chocolate is recognized as exceptional chocolate, but you can't grow chocolate in Belgium. So again, there are some interesting aspects about the substances and the flavor components and how they're happiest to give up all of those to human beings when we eat them. And again, that's oil or fat-based. So things that go well in dairy and butter, like the chocolate bar and the ground cacao nibs, are much happier in an oil environment. And one of the things that I talk about in my cookbook is when you're using cacao nibs, you really should toast those like you do nuts to get the oil to heat up and release a lot of those flavor components. Similarly, I make like a steak sauce with 100% chocolate, and it really is happiest when it's warm. Cocoa powder, which is used in baking a lot, does better in in wet environments. And if you think about, eggs or butter, or which are the major wet ingredients that cocoa powder thrives in, they're partially fat. And most recipes don't talk about this, but with cocoa powder, I advocate blooming it in water before you add it to a recipe. So, again, I did all of this research and experimentation on how to get the maximum flavor out of these products. We've all tasted things that look like they're chocolatey, but they don't taste chocolate enough to convince us. And possibly that's the flaw in what you're tasting, is that it wasn't fully actualized. It may be in it, but it's not pulling its full weight or offering you the best it can because it's been mishandled. More later.